Nikki here. I'm here today to do my movie review for the book The Goblet of Fire. This is the fourth in the series, and it's the first of the really long chunk of books, and as such, it is one of the first movies that has more cut out of it than normal. So if you're watching this, you've probably read the book, so you know what's going on. There was the World Cup for Quidditch, followed up by the Triwizard Tournament, and the book itself is all about expanding the world, international relations, and the rise of Voldemort. That being said, what was up with all of the shaggy hair? Like, every single guy had just like weirdly long shaggy hair, and I don't understand why. Overall, I think they did all right with the book to movie adaptation. And I think they did a really good job with the special effects as well. They still felt pretty fantastical, but didn't feel like they were like stickers in a video. And with that, I will go right into my review with my likes. My first like is the casting of the new characters. I think this is a like with basically every one of these movies. And it's because they do such a fabulous job picking people who embody the character in terms of physical appearance, and actors talented enough to just represent that character well. My second like is the Quidditch World Cup, and they did just a really good job with that. There are a few little things missing, but overall I think it set the tone, especially with the adults, really well, just because you had the Death Eaters and like the connection to Voldemort there, so there was just this ominous tone very early on. My third like is that the tournament was well paced once they got to school. In the book, it's pretty far into the book, but the pacing of the tournament in the book was really done really well, and that translated over to the silver screen really well. So the pacing of the different challenges was very even but quick and not rushed, and you felt like you got the full experience, which is really awesome. Now I move on to my dislikes. They're minor, and as this is one of my favorite installments in the series, my first dislike is using Neville instead of Dobby for the gillyweed. You can bloody fight me on it, but Dobby was a much better choice, and as I've said in previous videos, he is completely underutilized in the movie franchise because Dobby is amazing. And then I was also upset because they didn't include like Spew with Hermione, or kind of the whole story with Winky and Dobby like befriending her, but she's just in a terrible place. And I really liked the Spew, Winky, Dobby side story, and I missed that it wasn't here. My second dislike was some of the tension with the ball, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, some of my complaint is the whole pink instead of blue dress, because it's something so minor that they could have done so easily kept on. But just like the way the relationships became tense and built and like deconstructed a little bit leading up to it was done in such a way that I didn't fully appreciate it as much as I did in the book. And then my third dislike is the complete disregard of like Rita Skeeter as an animagus. They don't really talk about it because in the book Hermione like captures her and keeps her in a jar, and maybe I dismissed it, but I don't feel like that was really in there, or that Hermione made a big deal about it at the end. Like she is definitely like the cat has the cream when she's telling them about it, and it's just ugh. Anyways, moving on to my characters. As I mentioned with my likes, they did do a pretty good job with casting. I do really enjoy most of everybody that was cast and how they portrayed the characters. There were a few character switches, and like I'd mentioned, Dobby and Winky weren't there. Spew was generally not an issue. Like Fred and George talking about the kitchens. Like there's just a bunch of little side stories and side arcs that weren't really explored in the movie, and I get it because the movie has to be focused on moving the plot forward exclusively. But I did miss like the slice of life moments, especially when it resulted in things like Neville giving gillyweed to Harry instead of Dobby. And then I will talk a little bit about Dumbledore here. I'm sure a lot of you expected in my dislikes that I would list the whole "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" as opposed to the calmly that's in the book. And honestly, that one is such a talked about issue. I just kind of wanted to leave it out of my dislikes and make the dislikes more just little things, that personal things, rather than something that the fandom's necessarily latched onto. There was a lot of things other than just the goblet scene where he was less calm and collected and prosaic about things. And while I think it's a good hint at kind of how active he is in the later series, it was really sad to see that because there's just that serenity that was missing in this movie, and that was something that had defined Dumbledore so much over the course of this series, especially in this book. And that's all I really have to say. So I'll just move into my wrap up here. As normal, I'm going to do my 2 separate scores. I'll start with my movie score. The movie score is a 4 out of 5. It's well shot. It's not too confusing. The casting was really good. The movie itself was well paced. You had to watch the previous movies to understand what was going on in this movie, but you wouldn't have had to read the book series, and to me that's a very good indicator of how this movie is as a standalone. Like I said, it's very fun to watch. The new things introduced are explained enough that you understand, but not so over-explained or under-explained that you're left confused. Unfortunately, I can't say as good things about the book to movie adaptation. It was not bad. It was not bad. But again, I'm gonna harp on this a lot. For me specifically, Dobby was really underutilized. There were a lot of side characters where the positions were changed a little bit, and as such, it resulted in a lot of like really minor things being adjusted because they needed to keep adjusting stuff to keep these side characters out of later movies, which is unfortunate. But overall, like, they did do a reasonably good job. The plot still progresses the same way even if the side stories aren't the same, and as such, my book to movie adaptation score is 3.5 out of 5. Good, a lot better than average for sure, but still not the best adaptation. Not to the same level as like the first and second books in terms of book to movie adaptations. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.